Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a very belated October wrap up. I've just haven't had the time to really film, and then when I have gone to film, I just don't like what I'm doing, and so then I end up deleting everything. So it's just been kind of a strange month. And then October, I also didn't really read all that much. I've kind of got into a slump after reading a book that I really didn't like, which I will get into my October wrap up. So I think I read like a total of 4 books. And the thing is, I started a lot of books in the month of October, but I just didn't finish them. Some of them I'm not going to finish, and then some I'm just taking my time with. So also that's why my wrap up is going to be a little bit short for the month of October. So the first book that I finished in the month of October was Lost World by Michael Crichton. This is the second book in the Jurassic Park series, and I haven't read the first book, but of course I've seen the movie. I think everyone has. This was recommended to me by my good friend Ozzer, so thanks for the recommendation because I really loved this book. I wanted some more sci-fi after reading Dark Matter. I mean, it's dinosaurs, it's like scientific, but it's also very adventurous. It was a book that had me gripped pretty much the entire time, so I really enjoyed reading this. It did take me a little while to read, and that was because I was reading it on my phone and reading a lot of books at the same time. It wasn't because I wasn't enjoying the book, because I did give this book 4 stars. The author did a good job reintroducing the characters, since I hadn't watched the movie in a really long time and then I hadn't read the book ever. So if you finished Dark Matter recently and you want to read something that's like a sci-fi, adventure-y type thriller, I wouldn't say thriller like suspense thriller scary, but definitely has you in suspense, check out Lost World because I really did like it. And now the second book that I read in the month of October, which is the one that put me in this reading slump, the book that did that was The Wild Inside by Christine Carbo. So I read this with my book club and it was just not good. It was a debut novel and it was just so boring. So it's supposed to be a suspense novel, and let me tell you, there was nothing suspenseful about this book. I gave it 2 stars, which I think was being a bit generous in my honest opinion. So a brief summary about this book. There is this detective from the Department of the Interior who's on the homicide squad or whatever that may be, and he gets called into a case in Montana where there has been a grisly attack on a person who has been left dead tied to a tree, and so he's trying to figure out what happened, obviously, because no one knows who did it. I didn't like the main character at all, and I found that the main character wasn't consistent, and I'll try to explain it in the way that there were times when I was reading about the character and then the way he would interact with other people just didn't seem at all like what his inner narration would make him act like. He smiles and he laughs and he acts weirdly flirty with people, and I just think that's not how it seems like he would act based on his narration of the story. It just really didn't make much sense to me. I wasn't interested in knowing what actually happened in the end. I just couldn't wait for the book to be over. And that is when my reading slump began, because I just didn't know what to do after that. I was just so bored with that book. It just kind of ruined reading for me for a little bit. But then I did read a book that I actually enjoyed called Nowhere But Here by Renee Carlino, and I found this book through Bookstagram, a beautiful Bookstagrammer's account, which I will leave her account in the description box below because you just look at her feed and it's like the emoji heart eyes, I swear. It's so beautiful. Anyway, she posted about Nowhere But Here and it sounded like a good contemporary, which I thought would be good for getting me out of my reading slump, so I listened to this on audio and I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. It was about this reporter who goes to Napa Valley to do a story on this elusive owner of this vineyard, and while she's there she meets one of the hands who lives at the vineyard and they hit it off pretty much right away. What I like about this book was that it took me a lot further than I expected. I thought we were gonna go obviously to California, do the story, but the story actually continued from that, which I wasn't expecting, and it actually really shocked me. There was a part, I think on the audiobook, I had 2 hours left to it, and I thought, oh my goodness, everything is so great right now. Oh, this must be the ending. And then I looked at my phone and I saw there were still 2 hours, and I thought, oh crap, what is gonna happen? And then I was so shocked. I did not see it coming, what happened, but I think it just was really great. I really loved how it ended. Such a good book. If you're looking for a good contemporary read to get you out of a slump, I would recommend this book. And then the final book that I read in the month of October was Wait For You by J.L. Armentrout, I believe that's how her name is pronounced, possibly. This is the first book in a series, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I also really enjoyed it. It was like a contemporary new adult because I was still kind of in that slump and needed something that was also a contemporary to keep pulling me out of the slump. And I read it really quickly. It was available on Amazon for I think $2 or $3 for Kindle, so if you're interested in reading it, definitely get it for your Kindle because it is super cheap, and definitely a trap because now I want to read the rest of the books and they're not the same price as the first one. This is about a college-age student. She goes away, very far away from her home in Texas because she has this whole issue with her family, which you don't find out about until later, but she wants to basically start afresh, and so she makes some new friends who don't know anything about her past, and then obviously she meets a guy who is just very persistent about being her friend and getting to know her, and it just catches her off guard. She doesn't really expect it or know what to do with this because she's never had a boyfriend before. I like completely 100% hooked into this book. I probably could have read it in one sitting if I had the time. It was just that kind of contemporary read. So I am really excited to read the rest of the series. If you have any contemporary recommendations for me, please let me know in the comments because I want to read more contemporary new adult type books, but I just don't know where to start. So if you could just let me know, that'd be fantastic. And I'd love to know what you read in the month of October or what you're currently reading. So thank you for watching and happy reading.